Section 11 here at West Oahu. My name is Andrew Burgess. I'll be your instructor this semester. I know I was listed as TBA on your course search, so here I am. My name is Andrew Burgess. Good to meet you. A little bit about myself. I am from Florida. I did my undergrad work in creative writing at Florida State University. My master's degree was in media and communication studies, and PhD in rhetoric and composition. So I've been around for a long time. I've taught several, probably 7 or 8 semesters of courses. This is my first semester at West Oahu, so looking forward to getting into it. This is an online class. I'm trying to make it as personal as possible, so here I am. I didn't want to be an anonymous, just name and email address to you. I wanted you to get an idea of who I am. I'm really in, so some things about myself. I'm really into music. I used to play in a punk band back home, and I'm looking for a band to get involved in here. I've been in Hawaii for close to a year now, but before that I lived for the rest of my life in Florida. It's great to be here, though. Hopefully I'll learn a little bit about you guys as the course goes on. So that's me. I'll tell you a little bit about the course. The general course description, you can, back up a second. You can find this course syllabus in the email that I just sent you, so feel free to go and click on that, download it, and go ahead and read through it along with me. Also, I'm going to be sending you the link to the course blog, which, just in case you don't see it, is ADVCOMP, so Advanced Comp 1115, our section number 11, and the year, 2015, at .wordpress.com. So click on that link, and also check out the syllabus. The course blog, you should know, is going to be our online home for everything this semester. Everything from videos from me, journal prompts, video response prompts. You're going to post all of your stuff there. Definitely keep up with the course blog, because that's how everything's going to be happening this semester. I'm not going to be doing anything on La Lima, just so you know. Let's see, so I'm going to read the general course description, the boring part, so go ahead and bear with me. The goal of English 200 is to help you to grow as a writer. This course will build on the critical thinking and composing techniques you developed in ENG 100. So if you've taken ENG 100 here at UHWO, none of this should be too unfamiliar to you. And to provide you with additional rhetorical strategies for composing a variety of texts. And we are going to be composing a variety of texts in here. This course will approach composing as a recursive process of invention, outlining, drafting, researching, revising, and editing that involves careful rhetorical consideration of one's audience, genre, context, and rhetorical situations. So writing is a process. It's recursive. It goes around and around. It's not linear. And we are going to be exploring rhetoric, rhetorical situations, and questions of genre and context and purpose and all that good stuff. We're also going to see writing as a collaborative social act in here that requires participation from all class members. So to that end, the course is going to include workshops, group discussions, which again, all this stuff is a lot easier in a face-to-face setting, but I think that given the use of videos and blog posts, it's going to be as much like a face-to-face class as it can possibly be. Finally, as an intermediate composition class, ENG 200 will also help you hone your research and information literacy skills. You will explore how to locate and evaluate primary and secondary sources in research, and to integrate those sources into your own texts. So we are going to learn some citation conventions and all that kind of stuff. The goal, though, is rhetoric. The goal is to create informed, persuasive arguments. More specifically, this particular section of ENG 200 is going to focus on pop culture and media and the way they interact with our lives, the way that media and pop culture affect us, the way that the messages in advertising and Netflix and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all these places that we're getting our information from, these things are all rhetorically based. They're all aimed at persuading us. They're aimed at helping us or causing us to shape the way we perceive the world. And so we're going to look at the deep rhetorical meanings in a lot of media that we kind of just take for granted every day. So it should be a lot of fun. The source text, the things you're going to be writing about are your own interests. So if you're really into anime, if you're really into, I don't know, Quentin Tarantino movies, if whatever it is you're into, radio, pop music, if you're a super huge Justin Bieber fan, whatever it is, we'll find ways to get your interests into our writing this semester. So I'm not going to make you read Shakespeare or anything like that, unless you really like Shakespeare, and then you're welcome to. All right, moving on. Course materials. Textbook, Gender, Race, and Class in Media. This is the 4th edition. It's by Gail Dines and Jean Humez. It is a fairly new edition, and you do need the 4th edition. So it might be hard to come by a used copy, but you can look on Amazon, see what you can find. It is going to be used quite a bit in this course, so I definitely recommend you pick one up. You're going to be way behind if you don't. So yeah, get it. Buy it this week. It's part of the homework. I will go ahead and post PDFs of our readings for the first 2 weeks, but after that, you're on your own, okay? You'll also need online access consistently to your email, because I'll be sending out all of the course announcements through email. So make sure you're checking that regularly. You'll need Microsoft Word or some other software for typing your papers. Could be Google Docs, could be Pages on Mac, but it needs to be something that you can compose papers and share them with us. You'll definitely need a WordPress account to comment on the blog and to upload videos to our course website. I've got a link on the syllabus for where to go to establish a WordPress account. Same thing goes for a YouTube account. You'll need to create one of those so you can create videos. YouTube has a great video editor embedded right in your browser window, so if you don't have iMovie or anything like that, not a problem. Just click Create Video on YouTube, and you'll be able to upload it immediately. And then you'll just copy the link to the video in our course blog. I will note that you cannot set your videos to private, or I won't be able to see them, so make sure we don't get into those troubles. Also, you cannot use your username with your YouTube account. For some reason, these two systems don't talk to each other. So if you already have a personal Gmail account, or if you want to create a new one for this course, that's fine. But you're going to need to create a YouTube account. Finally, an adventurous take on technology. Yeah, we're going to do some weird stuff in here. It's going to feel a little bit odd. I'm talking to the computer in my office right now. It feels a little strange, but trust me, this is the best way to get some good community happening in this course. So go ahead and have a good attitude. Be ready to take on technology in a fun way. Okay? There might be things that feel like they're failing miserably, but we're going to try it out. All right? I am totally adaptable. I'm open to trying new things, and so this semester that new thing is video. And I think it's going to work well. All right, work required in this course. Per UH requirements, you guys have to compose at least 16 typewritten double-spaced pages of finished prose for this course. So to make that happen, we're going to have 3 major projects. The first one is a snapshot media narrative, where you're going to talk about big moments in your life with media, and there will be more information coming out on all these soon enough. The second paper is going to be a rhetorical analysis, where you'll pick your own media example and do a case study and examine the rhetorical appeals and all that kind of stuff that go into the rhetorical messages in a particular instance of media. And finally, we're going to do a media activism campaign. This is not a traditional paper. We're not going to be writing a paper for this one. We're going to be actually picking a topic of your own and creating your own media campaign. So we're moving from examining ourselves as media consumers to media critics to media creators. Okay, so that's the course of the semester. Other components are process feedback. You're going to have at least 1 peer workshop, maybe 2 on each project, where you'll actually email your papers back and forth to each other and give comments. And you're also going to have 1 conference with me for each paper, where we actually either meet in my office if you happen to be here on Oahu, or we'll do Skype or a phone interview or a phone conference. So either way, you're going to hear my voice, you're going to talk to me about your paper, and we're going to get some good feedback that way. All right, the last component here is weekly responses, your video responses, and your blog journal. So 1 of those per week, not too heavy. Okay, that's the basic breakdown of our course. Let's see. Grade evaluation, project 1, 2, and 3 are all worth 20%. Written journals and video responses are worth 15% apiece, and participation and attendance in workshops and conferences is 10%. So basically, you can't get away with not doing any one component and still get an A in the course. All right. So the big thing is that you take part in the process of composing. That I know you are not just turning in a paper at the last minute. So again, your project grades are going to be made up of not just the final text, but the entirety of the process. So I'm going to look at how much you participated in the workshop and how much you've revised from draft to draft. On the course of these papers, I will see them all in many different forms, and so it'll be obvious if you're just trying to turn in the same thing over and over again. The goal, again, is to help you see writing as a process, not as some kind of mad dash to the grade. All right, so just to give you an idea about grading, I do think that grading writing is a pretty weird thing to do, right? It's subjective, so I know you're probably wondering, how am I going to be grading you? I will say I tend to be a pretty easy grader as long as I can see that you're, proving that you're doing the work. Your grades on each project will be based on the final text you turn in, also the process of revision and drafting, your involvement in workshops, your involvement in one-on-one conferences with me. So you can't get away with just turning in the last paper because it all rolls into your grade. So the final product is not the only part of this class. The rest of the process of getting to the final product is equally important. So the way the grades are going to break down, 3 major projects, project 1, 2, and 3, each worth 20% of your grade. Your written journal posts are going to be worth 15%, and so are your video responses of 30% total between the two of those, and then participation in workshops and conferences is 10%. So basically, if you try to get away with not doing the videos or try to not do the journal blogs, or if you try to not, come to conference or call me for conferences, you can't get an A in the course. That's basically what it breaks down to. Late work, I'll accept. You can't pass the class without turning in all the projects, so I have to accept late work, but it does come with a penalty. For every day that you're late on a project, it's going to be half a letter grade off. So if it was due yesterday, you can't get better than an A minus. If it's due 2 days ago, you can't get better than a B plus. So that way you can see what happens when you turn something in late. And then trust me, I hate taking off points just because something's late. So if we have extenuating circumstances, if something comes up, feel free to email me, let me know. We can probably work something out, but in general, try to be on time. That's the basic thing there. One thing I will say is that blog posts are not generally accepted late. It's kind of an all or nothing grade, and I need it by the time that it is due because that's how I decide what we're going to talk about the next week. I read your posts, I see what you're interested in, what you're hung up on, and I kind of craft my video response to that, and hopefully we keep moving in that direction. So if I don't hear from you in time, I can't really do anything with your blog posts. So for that reason alone, blog posts will not be accepted late, and neither will video responses. So stay on top of that, get them in on time. You've got a full week to get them to me between Sunday and Sunday, so whatever it works in your schedule. If you have to record them at your office after work, if you're full-time, got a full-time job, if you got to record them after the kids go to bed, whatever your scenario is, you should have plenty of time in the week to make that happen. Getting to the end here, plagiarism, don't do it, all right? Don't use other people's work and not cite them, and don't use work that you've already turned in and try to pass it off as new work, all right? I don't tolerate plagiarism. It's an easy way to get kicked out of college, and there's nothing there's nothing more avoidable than plagiarism. If you've got to take somebody else's idea, which happens all the time, especially in research projects, cite them, all right? If you're using somebody else's lyrics from a song, cite it. Certainly writing is a collaborative act. You're going to be using other voices, other ideas, and that's encouraged just as long as you let us know where they're coming from. I will say, as far as our semester hour policy, this is a 3-credit course, meaning you should expect to do about 9 hours of work per week on this course. So that'll be balanced between readings, which I will admit are a little bit substantial, but I'm never going to assign a reading just for busy work. They're always going to be something really important to the course, whether that's readings, whether it's your own writing, whether it's responding and blogging and making videos. You should expect about 9 hours of work here. As for the last section of our syllabus, my email policy, I do respond to emails. I try to do it as fast as possible, and I'm trying to make the promise that you're going to hear back from me at least within 48 hours. So if you email me, it's been 2 days, you haven't heard back, feel free to email me again, but don't get upset if it takes 48 hours. I do have something like 80 students between my classes, so things get hectic, but I always will try to respond to you. Everything that you are concerned about, I am also concerned about. I will say, though, if it's anything simple, like asking me what you're missing in class or when something's due, always go to the blog first, because it's always going to be there. In fact, if you ask me, I'll check the blog and let you know. So go ahead and cut out the middleman and be familiar with the course blog, know when things are due. You'll notice on the blog there is a countdown to the due date for Project 1 on the sidebar. You're always going to be able to see it. September 28th is the due date on Project 1, and then we've also got drafting dates, workshop dates, and things like that along the sidebar. So there shouldn't be any mysteries. You know when things are due. The weekly calendar will be updated every week. Let's take a look at week 1 now for what's expected for this week. Go over the course syllabus. I've kind of read it to you, but I do expect you guys to get familiar with it. So go ahead and look on the course blog or get it from the email attachment and make sure you know the course syllabus. I'd also like you to buy the textbook. Again, Gender, Race, and Class in Media by Dines and Humez. You can find that on Amazon. I've got a link to buy it on Amazon on our course blog under the week 1 calendar. I do expect you to familiarize yourself with the course blog, and I expect you to read Chapter 1 in our textbook. I will be uploading a PDF of that later today because I know most of you won't have already bought the textbook. So for the first 2 weeks or so, I will provide PDFs of the readings. After that, you're on your own. So do make sure you go ahead and purchase that book. I've also got a reading called This Isn't What We Did in High School that I'd like you to read and respond to. It's only 3 pages long. So basically, some of our discussion this week is going to center on figuring out how this course is different from what we've done in the past, right? As far as work you're going to need to do, again, create a WordPress account and create a YouTube account. And then I expect you to do a weekly video reflection. Your first one is due by Sunday, the end of the night Sunday, okay? Introduce yourself to the class. There's some prompt questions on the video response week 1 page that'll help you know what we're looking for. And finally, you'll need to respond to Blog Journal 1. Again, questions are available on the Journal 1 link on the website. So that's this week, guys. Go ahead and jump in. If you got any questions, email me for sure. I'll be around all week. So let's go ahead and get this thing started off right. Can't wait to see your videos. Can't wait to see what you guys are up to, where you're coming from, and get to know each other. And once you upload your own video, feel free to definitely check out other people's videos as well, because it's no fun just broadcasting into the void. We want to go ahead and get to know each other, especially in terms of workshops coming up right around the corner for that first project. All right, again, any questions, feel free to email me. And welcome to the course. Hope you guys have a great first week.